Do you want to improve your pronunciation? Well, of course you do. That's why you're here, right? So today, I'm going to give you some tips and some advice on how you can improve your pronunciation. So let's get started. Welcome back, my students. So there are about, I'd say, 6 things that you should know to help you improve your pronunciation. Now, one of the first things that's really important is to copy or mimic mouth positions. Follow the mouth positions of a native speaker. Get a mirror and look at how you're saying the words. In English, we have different positions than perhaps in your native language. For example, I know in Chinese there's a lot of right here. And those are different sounds that aren't in the English language. So you have to follow, repeat, mimic native speakers. I post stories on Fridays. Now, some of those videos show you the mouth positions. And other videos, like in the Blends, Digraphs, Trigraphs, and More series that you can find in the playlist, have mouth positions for the words. So it's important that you watch those videos, get a mirror out, and look at your pronunciation and record yourself so you can hear your pronunciation. Number 2 is to speak slowly. Don't mumble. Don't try to speak fast. Speak slowly, especially if you have a thick accent. If you speak slowly, then more than likely a native speaker will understand. Remember, speak slowly and try not to get frustrated. Even if the native speaker seems to be getting frustrated with you, take a breath, slow down. Try to think of other words if you can't think of that one word, or try to describe it. And of course, if you have a phone, you can always Google Translate the word you're looking for. Just take a breath. Here's an example of a non-native speaker speaking in English. And you'll notice that she speaks slowly so that you can understand her. Listen.
Lunar New Year is really about getting a positive and fresh start. The celebration activities, in a way, like a crossover between the American Thanksgiving and the New Year. It's really a time for family gathering, for friends to come together.
Were you able to understand her? Yes. And do you know where she's from? Well, if you said China, you're right. I'm not sure where in China she's from, but I know she's Chinese. The one thing that she could work on is to not stress her words out. You have to be careful with talking like this, and you can hear that she does that several times, and that hurts your fluency and your pronunciation. So remember that you want to bump, 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 cut those words. Say the word and don't stress them out. Listen again.
Lunar New Year is really about getting a positive and fresh start. The celebration activities, in a way, like a crossover between the American Thanksgiving and the New Year. It's really a time for family gathering, for friends to come together.
Did you hear it? That yes, you did. Here's another Chinese person speaking in English.
Now, the Chinese New Year actually lasts for 16 days, starting from the Chinese New Year's Eve to the Lantern Festival, which is on the 15th day of the lunar calendar of January. Now, each day of the holiday has a name, including days for prayer, days for visiting relatives, and they're also ranked in order.
Do you hear the difference? She spoke slow, clear, and didn't stress her words out. And that's the focus. You can have an accent. You can speak English with an accent. And that's a perfect example. Number 3 is to copy the intonation, or the music as some people call it. Every language has a rhythm to it, and English isn't any different. So you have to find the rhythm in a language or in English. I have a few requests to do a video on linking sounds or linking words together. And I'm going to do that video next week. So that is a student requested video that I'll be doing next week. So make sure you click the bell to get notified for that. Anyway, connecting sounds and finding the rhythm of the language is important. Listen to this speaker speaking in English.
Hello and welcome. This is a special broadcast on Times Now. If you know anything about YouTube, you would know about the two guests we have on our show. Is joining us Ritu. Ritu and Gaurav, welcome to Times Now for speaking to us. I must first of all tell our viewers that both of you have completed Mission Asman Mein Bharat.
Did you hear it? You see, if you stress words in the wrong place, then it might be a different meaning or it might not be clear. But what this speaker does is speak very loudly, right? You don't need to speak loudly to be understood. So this person speaks really loud and really fast. And because he has a thick accent, some native speakers might not understand him. I would advise him to slow down, take a breath, and not yell. You don't need to yell. Number 4 is to use a dictionary. Now, I use a couple of different dictionaries, and I'll post them in the description box below. But for this pronunciation video, I would say to use How'd You Say, because it gives you both American pronunciation and British pronunciation. So it does both, and that can be helpful. So go to that website and type in a word and listen to it. It doesn't show you the mouth positions, but it does give you the sound of the word so you can hear it. Number 5 is to listen to English. That's right, you should listen to English, either through a radio station or an audiobook. Now, as I've said, I do post stories every Friday. Sometimes the stories will show you the mouth positions, and sometimes they don't. And I do that for 2 reasons. 2 reasons. One, because I want you to listen to the accent. You know, English comes in many forms of accents, right? You have a northern accent, a southern accent. So these stories will have different accents from the US. But sometimes I do post speakers from Britain or from other countries, because you should listen to accents that, you know, people that speak English with a different accent. So you're used to hearing it. And the other reason, the second reason that I post stories for you to listen to, is that you can improve your listening skills by listening to audiobooks. You can find that rhythm. You can listen for it. You can listen for those connections. You can also read along, because I do post the stories so that you can read along with the narrator. So number 5 is important. Number 6 is to read. Read things in English. Read things that you enjoy. Because if you read things that you enjoy, you're more likely to read them, right? It doesn't have to be a long book. It can be a short book, a short story, an article in a newspaper, something, anything in English. You should also read it out loud, not loudly. Don't say the words loudly. Just read them as if you were talking to someone, like me. And you could record yourself reading to see how you sound. I know, you don't want to record yourself. I know some of you are saying, I don't like the sound of my voice. Neither do I. I don't feel comfortable in front of this camera. I don't like doing the recording of my mouth. I don't like it, but I do it because I know it will help you. And I know that you need to see the mouth positions. And I know that you need to hear it and to see it. So I do these things for you. So do things for yourself and listen to the way you speak in English, okay? I think another important thing to remember is to have patience. Be patient with yourself and realize that it does take time. And the more you practice, the better you will become. I recommend 15 to 20 minutes a day, listening, repeating, recording yourself, and using the language as much as possible. The other thing is confidence. You have to trust yourself. You have to have confidence. You have to say, I can speak English. Come on, let's say it. I can speak English. No. Don't doubt yourself. Say it. I can speak English. Yes, you can. Confidence. Now, to improve, practice. Okay, my students, I have posted the links in the description box below. You might also want to check out a couple of these videos as well because they're on pronunciation. And next week, I'm going to be doing words that connect together and sentences that link together. So make sure you come back again next week, okay? Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, my students, please keep practicing. Bye.